now the Sons of Liberty show on the CB Media Network.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
We've been fighting a long time, and we have all lost so very much, so many loved ones gone. But you are not alone. There are pockets of resistance all around the planet. We are at the brink.
Live from Central Virginia, it's Saturday night!
Now we find ourselves facing a tyranny that has been infused with new blood, and it is rapidly becoming an engorged, hard tyranny. And yes, I know you better-minded listeners picked up on that not-so-subtle metaphor. I used it on purpose because a hard tyranny serves one purpose and one purpose only, to screw its subjects. No force, no attitude, no emotion, no nation, no person can hold any modicum of power, much less utter dominion over a sovereign individual, except through the sanction that is given by that individual.
But for me, needing a worldwide depression.
In doing so, we will honor the vows of our founders, who in the Declaration of Independence said that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This legislation will lead to healthier lives, more liberty to pursue hope and dreams and happiness.
Federal government, yes, can and do most anything in this country.
Just who the hell do you think you people are?
There's your dichotomy, folks. Do you want to be treated like children, or do you want to be treated like adults with brains of your own who can make your own decisions? That's the bottom line between new progressivism, which is really old communism, or conservatism, which is what started this great nation. Which hand are you going to choose?
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Alright, and I am your Iron Man of classical liberal thought, Bradley Rees, wielding Occam's razor in a new location now, like a surgeon's scalpel. Herrings sever Gordian knots and dissect progs to expose their filthy, steaming, putrescent, lie-filled guts for your amazement, amusement, bewilderment, and finally, hopefully, disgust, because we should all be nauseated at the slightest olfactory intrusion of the stench emanating from those troglodytes. During the course of the week prior, and several weeks prior now, since CB Media has been on the air, switched over to Spreaker now, and welcome any of you happen to be tuning in to this impromptu broadcast. During the course of several weeks prior, I have been dutifully stoking the fires of truth so as to reach optimal temperature, to fry straw men to a crisp, and melt down boilerplate to its bare essence, which is usually as dark as the pits of hell itself. So welcome to the Sons of Liberty show, where the dissemination of information takes a backseat to nothing save the occasional foray into snark. And of course the usual and customary disclaimer here on the Sons of Liberty show and the entire CB Media Network, to be quite frank. The views expressed by the hosts on these programs are not insensitive, but rather logical. If you perceive them to be insensitive, it merely points out your own hypersensitivity, so go to hell instead of trying to turn this world into it. Now, as I mentioned, I am broadcasting on Spreaker for the very first time. Not sure if this episode will stay up or not. Just testing some levels and trying to get used to the new setup here. The DJ console is quite different than the one on Blog Talk Radio that I was used to for 2.5 years, but it's a new and interesting experience, so hopefully I can get right into the swing of things, and you can come along and join us in the next phase in the exciting evolution of the CB Media Network. And hey, cool, I see a Ghost there in the chat already. Cool, glad to see you there. This is just kind of an impromptu show. Just sort of decided at the last minute to pop in here and see what I could bring up. Probably won't be broadcasting very long because I need to get to bed soon, but just wanted to check out this whole Spreaker thing and see what was going on. And let's see, I guess I should get into the rest of my usual intro. I am broadcasting live from the Commonwealth of Virginia, where our state motto is Sic Semper Tyrannis, which means thus always to tyrants. And if you've ever seen the logo on the flag of the Commonwealth of Virginia, you will understand what thus means and further understand why tyrants would not survive thus. Anyway, so welcome in. Now, earlier this week, this is one of the things I really wanted to talk about. I'll probably just cover this briefly and then head on off for the night. But there was a presidential debate, of course. Mitt Romney and President Barack Obama were in Denver, Colorado, Wednesday night, having the first of 3 presidential debates, which strikes me as a bit odd. Anyway, you know, we have a long-standing tradition in this country. Let's see, my levels just looked kind of weird on the microphone tab here on the console, so hope I didn't fade out there. I'm going to have to go back and listen to the episode and see how the audio quality comes out. Since with Blog Talk Radio, I was used to dialing in either via phone or Skype, and here I'm apparently just broadcasting straight from my headset to the vast interwebs. So we'll see what happens there when I listen to the podcast, and if there are any snafus, we'll see what happens and try to correct them as we move forward. Again, it's a new venue, a little bit new. Okay, all right. Ghost says it sounds very good. Good. Kind of eases my mind a little bit. I'll still go back and listen to it and make sure everything works okay. I have some sound effects loaded up here on the page as well. Let me try that and see what happens, because we had the debate, and you know, for all intents and purposes, the media, the general news media, cable news media, has grudgingly admitted that Mitt Romney won the debate, and rightly so. There's not really any way they could spin it to say that President Obama won the debate, because he was very aloof, perhaps, but nervous at the same time. Without the teleprompter, as I've said for years, the man is a bumbling idiot. And, you know, and it shows. It showed very clearly on the debate stage. The ums and uhs, you know, while they are maybe a bit more forgivable from, say, someone like me tonight, just broadcasting from a new venue here on Spreaker, you know, trying to get used to the setup, there will be some ums and uhs and pauses, etc. But for the President of the United States, who has run the country for the last 3.5 years and should have a pretty good idea of his policy positions and how to counteract the policy positions or stated policy positions of his opponent in the debate, there shouldn't be much hesitation. It should be a straightforward, this is what I have done, this is what I am going to do, my opponent sees it this way, I disagree, here's why. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. That's what a debate is. Mitt Romney, on the other hand, came out and sort of laid out his case. I think the first half hour of the debate was a bit stilted at best. A lot of repetition, a lot of going over the same territory. Saying different things in much the same way, or the same things in slightly different ways, for about the first half hour. Mitt Romney, near the end of the debate, actually started to lay out the moral case for capitalism, the moral case for free enterprise, and talked about the 10th Amendment, and very nearly broached the topic of federalism, which I think, from my personal standpoint, I would love to see Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan talk more about federalism and actually mean it. And I think that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight. The debate it's a venue, especially when you're at the mercy of the cable news media, which I have to say, Jim Lehrer, partisan hack that he is and has always been, did do a fairly good job moderating the debate. But be that as it may, let me see. While I'm thinking about it, I had some. Let me do that. He did a pretty good job moderating the debate, and but the thing is, the debate struck me as a bit. Well, Mitt Romney didn't do what he could have done in the debate. Let me just put it that way. The cable talking heads were apoplectic after the debate, grudgingly admitting that Obama lost the debate, Mitt Romney won, and trying to make excuses for him. Right-wing radio hosts all week long have been just giddy with Mitt Romney's performance at the debate, and again, as I said, as for me, an accurate description would maybe be nonplussed. Now, did Mitt Romney win the debate? Well, in a manner of speaking, yes, because Obama performed so poorly. But, as with most serious questions in our modern progressively pretzeled paradigm, the answer hinges on how our terms are defined. What is winning? There's the Charlie Sheen sense of winning, and I guess Romney's performance could be seen as winning in that light. But this was a debate, and folks, to truly win a debate, you cannot simply counter your opponent's arguments. You have to break your opponent's arguments. Now, how do you do that? You do that by refuting the argument, not just disputing it, not just saying I disagree, but completely destroying the opponent's argument. Refuting is not just tearing down your opponent's premise, but firmly establishing a counter premise, firmly establishing a correct premise and proving it to be correct. Did Mitt Romney succeed in doing that Wednesday night? Well, as I've said in the past, can Dolly Parton see her navel without a mirror? Of course not. Well, same answer. Mitt Romney did not succeed in doing that. He did not succeed in tearing down